All right. Good day, everybody. Today we are going to begin by talking about this one. We'll get into it in a second, but first, let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. We're going to be able to use and identify basic shapes and terms in geometry. You're going to do this by basically just going along with the video. You're free to pause the video at any time, rewind. If you want to practice, I'm not going to do every single little bit of an example, so you will have a couple that you can just sort of do on your own separately. Um, and the big reason why I'm taking the time to do this is because terminology is important. We need to know what we're talking about in order to talk about it. So let's go ahead and get started right here. Yeah. All right. So today we're going to talk about points, just basic points. This will be probably the easiest thing we talk about. Um, a point is a shape. It's a shape that has no length, no width, no height, no nothing. It is just sort of a dot out there in space. We sort of put the dot there to just say, hey, this particular spot right here is important somehow. Um, and so, really, the only thing that we're talking about when we're talking about a point is just determining location. So, when we are talking about points, we have a couple crude visual examples right up here. Just call that point A, point B, and point C, and they're just used to determine a particular place out there in wherever we are. And you'll see that here point A, point B, and point C make a triangle, and we'll talk more about that in the coming weeks and months. So let's get to some examples. I'm just going to do a couple of these. When we are looking at where is this point, let's start with here with point E. And for point E, we are going to put it at the point 2, comma 5. And with 2, comma 5, remember that for stuff like this, we always put our numbers in alphabetical order. If we're doing the point 2, comma 5, that means that 2 is our x coordinate and 5 is our y coordinate. So what that means is always starting at 0, 0 when we are trying to plot a point, we will start with our x. We will go 1, 2 in the x direction. So there's our x, and then we're going to look at for our y, we're going to go 5. Now, we're going to go 5 in the y direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is where our point ends up. We follow the x amount, we follow the y amount, and then we plot our point right there in that spot that we called point E, right? So point E. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, how did he know to go right instead of left? How did he know to go up instead of down? Well, the numbers here, 2 and 5, are both positive. And so since they're both positive, we go in the positive direction. When it comes to horizontal, we define positive as going to the right. We define negative as going to the left. Likewise, when we're talking about going vertically, if we are talking about going in the positive direction, we're talking about going up. If we're talking about the negative direction, we're talking about going down. So, to sort of elucidate on that particular thing, let's look at F here. So here we have point F, and we're going to go 4, comma negative 4. That's where our point is at the coordinate 4, comma negative 4. So again, we go through and we start with our x. Our x value here is 4, so we're going to count 4. And it's positive, so we know it's right. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go with the x, and now with the y, we look and we see -4. Negative means, in this case, down. So we're going to count now again. In this case, down. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've counted our x, we've counted our y. We're going to put our little dot for our point, and we're going to label it F. So you can continue to practice. You've got G, H, I, J, K, L, M, and N. I'll just do one or two more real quick, just so you can see. I'm going to go much faster now, just to show you that it doesn't take like 10 minutes to do a single thing here. G is the 0.12, so 1, 2, and there we go. Right there, that's our G. H, -3, 2. Let me get a new color here. And again, this shouldn't take you that long. X comes first, -3, go up 2 for a +2, and there's our H. So again, this doesn't take very long at all. It's basically half a second to just go X and then Y, X, Y, X, Y. If your counting is good, you 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're good. Let's go ahead and look at sort of the opposite case. Here, I have points on the graph, and they're labeled, but I don't know what they are. So let's start with A. So A, we're going to count again, just like we did last time. Let me get a new color here. Let's go with red. So we always start our counting from the origin, 0, 0, and we always start with x. Now we're going left 1 to get to our point there, right? So that means that the x value is at -1. Now we want to then see how much up or down we have to go, and lo and behold, if we look here, I don't need to go up or down. I'm already there. There's no movement that I needed to make vertically up or down. So I know that my y is going to be 0. So let's go ahead and do a couple other ones, maybe ones where we don't have 0 as a number. Let's choose E down here. Let's choose E down here. So I'm going to say, okay, well, here's my E. Put my parentheses there. I know there's going to be a comma in the middle, and I'm going to count now. So E is down here, so let's get the X out of the way here. I'm going to count 1. Let me get the thing working. 1, 2. So my X coordinate, if you look, I counted 1, 2, and it's in the negative direction, so I know that's a -2. Now I got to do my Y, so I got to make my way down to it. So I count 1, 2, 3. And I know since I'm going down, that means it's going to be a -3. And let me do one more here. Let me do I. I'm going to do I up here now. Let me get me a new color. And I got I. That's where I'm going. So I'm going to count. The X is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's my X value there for I, and it's 5. And it's positive, right? Going to the right, positive. And then let's count our way up. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm there. So again, I went up, so I know up is positive. And I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, okay, so why does it have to be positive one way or negative the other way? And the truth of the matter is, it's just the way that people decided to do it. There are, I'm sure, plenty of people out there who have found, for one reason or another, that counting in a different way is easier for them or different. They just wanted to see for the lulz what was going on with that. There's actually a really cool example of that just completely different way of thinking about what numbers are and what they mean, uh, especially in a visual context. And you can go look it up if you want. It's pretty weird, to be honest, but it's really cool. It's called tropical math. Yeah, tropical, like like where you go on vacation sometimes. I won't say much about it because it is kind of, kind of, kind of weird. But if you want, you can go check it out, and it's interesting. But that's neither here nor there. We're just concerned about normal counting. Okay, the going to the right is positive, going to the left is negative, up is positive, down is negative. X is your horizontal, Y is your vertical. And again, it doesn't take very long to just do. You just gotta be able to count. So I want to do one or two more examples real quick just to show you it's not even a 2-second process. Let's look at point, I don't know, point D. You gotta find the D here. Um, and so you go 2 to the right, okay, 2, and 5 down, so that's -5. You don't need to work real hard to figure that out. It's just count and then count. 2, -5, and then you're done. All right. Well, see you next time.